back, guys. Unless you're all having coffee.
Yes. This is Uncle Walt from the Ironworks. Josh, Corey, and I have chosen to look at life with no fear. No fear of the unknown. No fear of questions about the supposedly well-known. No fear of ridicule for thinking outside the familiar fool's lines. No fear of the boot on the neck of those refusing the party line. No fear of taking on those so convinced of their beliefs they would sooner drink the Kool-Aid than believe they've been fools made. In this world filled with me too, cattle think, can truth's protective layers be peeled back to show the tender, juicy pink? Are we all just grist for the mill? Souls sold against our will, or is that just how it feels? When you're filled to the rim with trivialities so fear-filled and grim, break clear of the fear. Right here, Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 a.m. on TFR. Josh and I and you will hammer out the impurities of technology-driven groupthink, fold in a dash of logic, and quench it all with a bit of absurdity. The Ironworks. Break clear of the fear.
It's like pear-shaped. I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Wow. I'm truly humbled. Mr. Stephen Hawking, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
I thought that was Zach with his wireless playing up.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking, he's always right on point. I don't.
Every week, isn't it?
Like magic.
Yep. I had a
So
great one.
poignant.
I had one this morning that was just very poignant too. It was just, I mean, so on topic. Yeah, it was. Well, it sounded an awful lot like that, but if you play it back and listen really close, you'll be able to hear what he was really saying was, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." And, I think coming from Stephen Hawking, that's truly, truly an astounding thing.
We're all going to hell again. Well, that was a good first hour. I enjoyed that. It was really good to catch up with Paul and Noxie over there on TFR. Can't remember what the show's called. Paul on the Plane, is it? Josh?
Yep.
Good.
Sounds good to me.
You'll find it.
Hashtag Truth Tuesday over there, TFRlive.com.
Hashtag
Truth
we're
Frequency.
prepared. Sorry.
Well, if you're a big fan of Mark Sargent's Strange World, then you should be well aware of when Paul on the Plane comes on, because he's right before that. So, and that's, I believe, 10 hours.
Sergeant.
Maybe 4.
That rings a bell. Strange World.
While we're talking about high quality channels, I don't know, is it working now? We had it working, the IRM 24/7 channel.
Of course it's not working. Or I looked at it earlier and it was silent. If
Is it glitching again?
If that's what working means. I mean, it's there, it's
For the
live,
Iron
but there was
24/7. Of course, that's what else would you expect?
It's
Nothing
about,
is in technical difficulties 24/7.
yeah. It's classic IRM.
It is silence.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so what topic?
But yeah, that's Iron Realm Media 24/7.
Oh, wait
if you
till it's
search.
working, mate.
No, just subscribe now. It'll spur me on to get it fixed.
You got 3. What more do you want?
Well, there are 4. I think.
No, well
I
done,
think
mate.
it's a great idea. I think we should start doing meditation videos, 1-hour meditation videos, of just a black screen and dead silence.
Well,
So he gives you here's an hour, now meditate. It's a 1-hour meditation video.
I think I've managed that for a bit.
Yeah,
Just with it
I
saying.
think we could do
Yeah.
that.
It's a sad indictment, though. That there's 5 of us here, and I've only managed 4 subscribers. And I know Carl, the guy that set it up for me, is one of them. So
Hey, and I'm the other one.
there you go.
You're not even subscribed to your own channel.
Could I be one old bugger?
Hold on, I'm gonna have to go and look at it now. Where the hell is it?
Walt
How
was
would I
chuffed.
get to it?
He got
Right.
in the chat as first. but I've deleted that. It's gone when it crashed. So it's Iron Realm Media 24/7. So the channel's there at least.
Well,
Boom.
let's
Just subscribed.
see if there's anything on that. Yeah, 4
If you set the
subscribers
bell
now.
notification, you'll know when it finally comes on.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't subscribed. Oh no, I was. I just didn't have the bell on. Sorry. Yeah, no, I was one of the 4.
Your credibility's waning.
I know. Let me play it. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, it was an hour and 1 minute long broadcast earlier, and yeah, 15 minutes in, still silence. 27 minutes silence. 37 minutes deep meditation.
Yep. Here we go.
55 silence, and do we get a jingle on the end? No, it's total meditation. Yeah, nice. Well done, Adam. You're spot on.
Are you feeling a bit more zen from it?
I am. Yeah, absolutely.
Calmed you, hasn't it? It's calmed you, see?
I just think
I'm doing it. I'm going to intro. We'll do some big deep breaths, some conscious breathing, and then I'm going to be an hour of just dead silence and black screen. And then at minute 59, I'm going to say, and we're back. Kill it. The end.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not far off where it's been.
With a big Homer
I think we've
Simpson
had constant reruns of Iron Coin, with Aaron. It's the only one that's been working. I'll have it running by the end of next week.
You'll whip your slaves and get them into shape, won't you?
Well, we got our server back up and running, so that's good. I did log in this morning.
Cool.
So, moving on.
Moving on. How about some awesome space lettuce? We had so much space lettuce. I mean, sometimes because you're looking for stories throughout the week. And I remember 2 weeks ago, it was just flooded. I'm going through my little news catcher looking for stories, and I'm searching for space or science or something, and it's just one ridiculous story after another. I mean, I know I have to stop because it's going to make that room where we keep these links such a cluster trying to go back and scroll for 35 seconds just trying to find the right story. Then God forbid I lose it and have to do that again. So I have to try to limit myself. But there was just so much junk out there. And then last week it was nothing. I was lucky to get like 5 stories. And then again this week it's just boom, story after story after story after story. So there was a whole bunch of stuff that we didn't even get to this morning that I think we'll be able to cover tonight, hopefully, because there was some really wackadoo stuff that they're putting out these days.
It's almost as if you need a space lettuce and a rotten space lettuce box.
That's almost the way to do it. Yeah. We really need to somehow, maybe that's what I needed to do, is just build my own room, and I'll catch all my own stories that I pull, and then I'll weed it down before I send them on to the main room.
Build it and they will come, mate. Not a euphemism. So go on then, spill us some rotten space layers.
Well, Adam, you put a story in, which was awesome to see. I think you were now the first person to contribute into that room other than Walt and I, which was really exciting to see. Do you remember which one that was? I did. That's one I did cover this morning, but I still think it's worth a mention tonight. And you're still muted if that's worth anything. Are you muted now?
Yeah, I was chatting along with you.
And I'd have put stuff in there if I can remember the 6 times that you told me how to get to it on Wednesday.
Well, look, this is why I made it the way I did. As long as you can remember what fucking month it is, pardon my language, you'll be able to find it. Just search for whatever month we're in, and that should be the one that pops up, because that's going to be the first word in the chat.
Okay, good advice.
You're not making it easy enough, Josh.
I can do 2018. 2018 October. As long as you can remember what year it is, you can plug that into the search bar.
You have to text me every morning.
I think I've got to be honest. I think it was Walt that put it in there.
I don't I think it was you, wasn't it?
No, but I commented on it because I thought it was just unbelievable.
I could have sworn.
So weak. Yeah, I cannot tell a lie, sir. I'm pretty sure it was Walt.
Walter,
yeah,
having his foot waiting for you to come clean.
Go on then, tell us what it was about for those of us that can't remember or access it.
Have you got the list?
I do. This is
It wasn't so much the list; it was their answers or lack thereof. Or here's a really good flat Earth proof, but we'll just make out it. You know, that's just another thing that shows it's a ball.
Yeah, and I'll even use the lame-ass joke that I used this morning, that you have to keep in mind that this is from IFL Science and IFH, IFL Science. Anyway, basically that's the theme for this story. This is their proof on why flat earthers are so stupid, because they take these proofs and it's just hashtag nuh-uh. Is basically their main retort to everything. It's really kind of silly. And I'm just going to read this real quick. It's really not even that long, because most of this stuff I can just skip with the hashtag. So why, oh why, would anyone believe that the Earth is flat? For one reason or another, the Flat Earth movement has witnessed a meteoric rise in popularity in recent years, or at least a meteoric rise in publicity. After wading through blog posts and hours of mind-numbing YouTube videos, we thought we would help you understand some of the arguments that a small number of Earthlings use to justify their belief in a flat Earth, and why they are desperately wrong. Number one, the horizon is not curved. There is no curve to the horizon, right? Makes perfect sense. We get it. Once you look into it, once you actually do a little bit of research, everything clicks. It's not effing complicated, unless you look at pictures being faked anyway. It says here, the spirit level never lies. According to some prominent flat earther and rapper B.O.B. regularly cites horizon's flatness as the main piece of evidence to plant doubt into the minds of spherical planet sheeple. Okay, then it gets into his song Flatline. Then it goes into the size. So it says, in other words, it's a very, very big. It's a very big Earth. Imagine an ant sitting on a bumpy, moss-covered ball that's 1,000 meters in diameter. It wouldn't be able to make out many curves. Just take a look at the images in the gallery below, where they use a macro shot of a basketball and try to say, hey, look, no curve, as long as you don't look too close. So in theory, you should be able to discern a slight curvature on the horizon from an airplane at over 10,600 meters. That's only 35,000 feet.
Whoa. That dude went down. Gravity got that dude. Oh, my goodness.
Need to change the frequency on your mic, mate.
That's exactly it.
Float above it and...
Hang on.
Oh, dear. Well, shit.
No
I
worries.
Didn't realise there was a small curve on the horizon. That's me. I'm done.
That's it. Over for me.
Game over.
So
It actually also says there somewhere in that little phrase about the windows in the parenthesis there, Josh. I can't find the story.
yeah, I was just getting to that. So
Oh, okay. My bad. I heard the boom and I missed what you were actually saying.
Yeah. Again, gravity. What are you going to do? So, yeah, the horizon from an airplane at over 10,600 meters. So at 35,000 feet, you can see this curve in an airplane. Although you would need a fairly wide field of view, as in not in a tiny airplane window. So as long as you're not in an airplane, you can see the horizon in an airplane. That's really convenient. That's cool. So there are some other ways to detect the curvature without the aid of NASA, ESA, or any governmental space agency. Here we go. Physics students from the University of Leicester in the UK, help me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, captured some
That'll be
awesome...
Leicester.
Leicester, sure. What a great way to spell Lester.
Obviously.
Leicester sounds better to me.
Leicester, I dig it. Some awesome images of the Earth's stratosphere and curvature simply by using a high altitude weather balloon.
Oh, bollocks. Why didn't we think of that one?
Right?
Shit.
Why didn't we even think to even look at that video and do a little bit of investigation in that video? Oh crap, we did, right? We saw that. We love our great high altitude weather balloon footages. As long as there's not huge curvature when they're still on the effing ground. Then you're going to go up a few 100,000 feet and say, look, there's the curvature. Whoops, now it's gone. See, well, it's flat now. Oh, yeah, okay, now it's concave. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, yeah, now it's flat. Well, see, there's the curvature right there. Obviously, it's a ball.
And the continuous curvy rope that's in shot all the way up as well. Because ropes, under those sort of forces just curve, obviously.
Well, if it can curve an ocean, it can curve a rope. Come on,
Of course.
gravity's magic, John.
Buoyancy.
If you can curve an ocean, you can curve a rope. So here's one. Nobody has ever crossed the wall of Antarctica ever. Some factions of flat earthers claim that Antarctica is a giant icy wall designed to keep us from falling off our disc-shaped world. Or knowing what those sneaky NWO governments are like to prevent us from finding out the hard truth that we don't live on a globe. To back up this theory, they claim that no one has ever crossed the whole continent. However, people have crossed Antarctica many, many times. There's even the southern pole of inaccessibility.
It's every bit of their evidence is, no, it's wrong, and here's not a reason.
Essentially, their evidence is,
Right.
nuh-uh.
Yeah,
That's kind of their evidence. Nuh-uh.
Some bloke did it quite recently, didn't it? Oh, no, hold on. That was a cousin of the Queen, and he died about a few miles before the end. Catastrophic body failure. But there was another guy that did it, wasn't No, that guy was a cousin of the Queen as well, called Ranulph Fiennes, who is a sort of known sort of fake artist, as far as I can tell.
Fake losing a toe.
Yeah, it'd be good if someone, not related to the Queen, maybe did it, and flew from the South Pole to the North Pole to the South Pole in one go. That'd be really cool.
Or one straight, direct line across the South Pole.
Ah, yeah,
Right.
but no, that doesn't count, though, Josh, because you can go from Ushuaia all the way south to the South Pole, and then you can just about turn 180 degrees and go back to Ushuaia, and apparently you crossed the South Continent doing that. So, yeah, interesting.
Or you can angle off just a little bit and still say you crossed in either direction, and then just say you crossed in both directions. But yeah, nobody's not that one straight line. They've always got to angle it for some reason back towards the direction from which they came.
You could just leave the end of one of these permanent structure snake thingies in Antarctica and walk round the other end and come back in and say you've been across the continent, as far as I can tell. So yeah, it's a piece of piss. Loads of people have done it. Rubbish.
So here's the next one. The Earth is stationary. Right now, the world is spinning at around 1,600 kilometers or 1,000 miles per hour. If that's so, why aren't we flying around? Well, think about flying in a passenger plane at 926 kilometers or 575 miles an hour. Aside from the takeoff and the landing, when there's a change in speed, you feel remarkably still. You can walk around the cabin, pour a drink, or go pee without too much trouble. Earth's rotation is constant, even though it varies depending on what latitude you're located on. So it's essentially the same effect. The atmosphere of the Earth also plays a role in helping our space voyage. Capsule, it says. Then again,
Well, I don't know about you, but I've walked around on planes not drunk and nearly fallen in the lap of numerous people as
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
and
sir.
I don't know about you, but I've always been told to fasten my seatbelt when we're taking off and sit down and put my tray up in front of me in case I accidentally spontaneously headbutt it just for the hell of it. Yeah. No, yeah, you wouldn't even know you're in a plane. I don't know what they're talking about. How it's bizarre.
I want to know what it would feel like if you were on top of the plane while it was flying. You know, like kind of we're not inside the Earth as it's going around. We're on the Earth.
Yeah, it's weird though, isn't it? I mean, it's weird that they don't store, the reserve G&T and that sort of thing on the outside of the fuselage, and and even the toilets. Why wouldn't the passengers sort of suit up and just sort of shimmy along the top of the plane and go to the toilet? Along with the air hostesses on the side, doing the same sort of thing like they do on the ISS. I mean, it's just, this is the future of engineering, is to have all your vital parts on the outside of the craft that you're driving on. I mean, it's crazy that we don't have indicators on cars and things on the front of the windscreen, so you just lean out. I'll shut up now, shall I?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and I could listen to you talk sarcastically about this stuff all day long. I love it.
I'm just glad you get the sarcasm, mate. It's I'm glad you get it. We're told that our language barrier between us and the States is just you can't understand what we're saying, mate.
No, I heard it loud and clear. It came through crystal clear.
For you.
That's good stuff.
The other thing I saw this morning, Josh, was the presidential message stuff. You guys, I learned quite a bit that it was from you this week. That it's been about. It's not Donald Trump setting stuff up.
No, he's just setting us up for the big fake off. That's all. He's the one who's going to push the button. Or either that or we get to read his tweets now every day as a presidential alert. That could be what it's all about. But seriously, it's been in place at least one administration, if not two. I'm not 100% sure anymore. It's just like the Amber Alert and the weather alerts that can take over your phone. Same idea, just this one isn't local and regional. This one's all the way, coast to coast. So either we all got chipped, we all got our cell phone weaponized, or they're preparing us for the big aliens are coming message that with all the Planet Nibiru crap that we keep reading on a daily basis. If not a hidden planet that is alluded to, then now we have a goblin planet that's alluding to the hidden planet that's giving us a clue. It's out there. We know it's out there. It's kind of like dark matter. We know it's there. We just actually haven't seen it or detected it in any freaking way, but we know it's there.
Well, I'll tell you what, Walt, if you could tell me about the Nibiru thing, because I saw something you posted that I didn't get a chance to see, but I I'm not up to date on Nibiru lately, since Flat Earth, strangely enough. But do you think the texting malarkey, I know they bring it around every few years, and Alex Jones was banging on about it years ago, but do you think it's predictive programming, possibly, so that I don't know, it's like the BBC in the UK. If everything went out, everyone would have their batteries in their radios and they'd all be listening to the BBC just as well, like when the power was on.
Right, and here in the States, I doubt anyone even keeps batteries in a radio anymore. They're so reliant on their cell phone. So at this point, I mean, it just seems that, well, I don't want to get too many things going. As far as the Nibiru thing, post finding out about Flat Earth, it just seems another distraction. It's constantly being harped on. I've seen so many videos of people who are getting the double reflection of a sun that we've all experienced filming through a window or filming through 2 layers of lenses or whatever.
Yeah.
And there we go. Oh, 2 suns. There's Nibiru.
Double,
if it
double
was
glazed
suddenly
windows, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's usually the.
If there was actually a planet or a sun or anything else that just showed up in our solar system alongside the sun that size, in the theory of their gravity ball swinging around crap, we would all know it. It wouldn't be a question of what the hell's going on.
Well,
So,
suspicious
but it's the
observer
whole-
would pick it up before anyone, wouldn't he?
Right. And I think this whole shutting down of the sun observatories, that's playing right into their whole bull crap, getting ready
Bingo.
for this whole alien thing. You
Yeah.
know, they're feeding it to us a piece at a time.
I think you're
We saw the
exactly
little
right.
video we watched of the airplanes with the fireworks on their wings, it would seem, the other day. Everybody is UFO crazy right now. People who aren't even normally putting videos about UFOs up or putting them up on their channel. It's just really it's everywhere. It's everywhere right now. And some of the channels that I used to watch on a regular basis back in the UFO days are just hammering it that Nibiru is coming. And there's footage of a Nibiru Anunnaki craft next to the sun. And well, I've been seeing the Anunnaki craft next to the sun since I was looking at UFO stuff in the first days of the Soho cameras and stuff. So if they've been out there this long, they sure are taking their damn sweet time.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Nibiru gets a YouTube warning and downgrading and unprompting and the likes?
Oh, I'm sure those channels are fluid, like just flowing with the big YouTube money, and they get all. Yeah, I'm sure they don't have a problem. They're feeding into the.
Before we get too flippant about this, I mean, I've got to say that 4 or 5 years ago, back through 10 years ago, I was on this like a finger on a pulse. I was tracking suspicious observers. I was just tracking Soho. I was tracking the Electric Universe with Professor McCanny and Nibiru, and reading Velikovsky and Worlds Colliding and all this
that's
sort
right
of
there
stuff.
with you, right there with you, friend.
Yeah, so we're not entirely taking the piss, but this is something that Flat Earth brings home to you, that when you realise that the space in general, as we're described, is not as we're described, then all of this takes a backseat and you start to see through the veil of the what would you say, the von Braun prophecy. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. And then it could also play into, well, we're going to get out there. It's time for some fringe, I suppose. The whole idea of the outer worlds, the outer continents, the outer rings, that the luminaries that we are told are Mars and Venus, etc., are the actual suns for these places, a la the egg. So there's these advanced civilizations that have been out there longer for all this time and have been here in the newer area where we're still either recovering from the last new sun birth, cooling off period, ice age, back to the Stone Age, whatever the hell you want to call it. They're doing all of it. You know, they're the ones that are the aliens. They're the ones that have been the gods. They're the ones who are using all their advanced technology to keep us as little cattle, spinning their little wheels, turning their little gears, making their little crops for them, being the fucking cattle, the goyim. Oops, what did I say?
Well, I'll tell you what, Walt. It's something I can entertain. Even, you know, if I take my zetetic hat off, I can entertain all of this, and I mean, let's say that we're on an infinite plane or a vast plane that the Earth that we call Earth is a small section of. It's the puddle theory, as I call it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that a comet or a star or a wandering star or something in our sky will go away from us, just like the sun, and appear to set, just like the sun, but hasn't gone anywhere. It's just beyond our angular resolution and our ability to see it. But I can see that there could be bodies up there, or lights, or frequencies, whatever you want to call them, that go beyond the Earth's visible range and also come back on a periodic scale.
Right.
I can see that, and I can also see that they have wandering stars, say, like similar to planets, say Mars, or so it's something like Mars that goes beyond our visual acuity, if that's the right word, so that we can't see it anymore for generations. It goes around some sort of huge ice field or whatever that we're a puddle in, and comes back every now and again on its own clockwork rotation, because it just seems to me we're looking up at a giant clock that is precision and cyclical.
So then, are the Anunnaki just kind of following along underneath it with their advanced technology, tracing along with the sun, getting here on the return trip, and that is the returning gods? Is that kind of the area you're flying through?
No, I can't put enough evidence into there even being some sort of Anunnaki that go travelling, but I could put my time into there being numerous civilizations that have been cyclically wiped out on Earth. But then again, if we're talking puddle fields in the middle of a massive ice field, then there's absolutely no reason why there aren't other puddles with other creations in them that have worked this shit out, because they haven't been lied to since they were born and made the effort to go find the next puddle. And to us they would be aliens, UFOs and crazy stuff, which is what we're being sold. But in reality, they're only 3,000 or 4,000 miles away in that direction, and they've just worked out how to actually get here.
Absolutely. That is something I've looked at repeatedly since this whole thing began, trying to work out. Because the experiences and the things I've dealt with, well, we've talked about all that before. They're here. They've always been here. That's where my stance is.
Or they could be under us, or they could be above us, or
absolutely,
or there
absolutely.
couldn't be a they at all. It's not they, it's us, but it's our ancestors. Like the mud flood sort of thing. If that sort of thing came in and wiped everything out, then how many here on the panel can build an electromagnetic motor? How many here can, probably quite a few actually, but do you know what I mean? In your street, how many people would be running around like a headless chicken, eating each other, and how many would be, actually, oh look, here's how, I can make a microwave and that sort of thing. We'd be thrown back to year zero again. If they just turned the electric off, we'd be eating each other within a week.
That used to be my birthday wish, by the way. Coincidentally, now that it's the week after my birthday, that was yeah. Once upon a time, back when I was.
You're going to have to clarify which wish there: the lecky going out or eating your neighbours.
Total anarchy.
Well, once the lecky goes out, yeah, everything's downhill from there. I mean,
or up.
Well, exactly. Your average restaurant or grocery store has, in their building at any given day, maybe 3 days worth of stock. So they're only stocked up for 3 days at any given time. So basically, once everybody gets there, clears out the shelves, clears out the back rooms, on day 4, day 5, that's blood in the streets.
It
Really?
is. It's that. Oh, I saw a horrendous film the other day. The one with. Oh God, I can't remember his name. Funnily enough, Liar in it.
Jim-
Say again.
Yeah, the bad cases.
The bad.
The bad.
Oh yeah, it was the bad
Brew,
something or other.
bad something. Yeah, I watched it as well. Yeah, that was horrific.
Horrendous film. It's just awful. I don't recommend anyone watch it.
Snow Globe might have been worth it though. The payoff might have been worth it there.
There could have been a message in there, but oh my word, it was just, as dystopian films go, it was it was pretty dystopian. It's not often you get the sort of lead character, fit-looking girl, get her arm and leg sawn off in the first sort of 10 minutes.
Well, I was 11 or 12, I guess 12 years old. I think was the youngest I could be to get a hunting license. So at 12 years old, I had killed my first deer. So I could kill and clean. Of course, my dad taught me how to clean. So I killed and cleaned my first deer at 12. And I only hunted for a few years. I mean, I got it. I couldn't do it now. I don't think I could pull a trigger on a deer at this point. But, you know, I'd have to figure something else out. Maybe. Well, I mean, again, if we could get to the point where we're thrown back 200 years, yeah, I would have to come do some serious soul searching. But I think in the end, the deer's going down. But yeah, just because I have those skills, I've always enjoyed sleeping outside on the ground, cooking on an open fire, you know, and just spending, 3 or 4 days away from everybody out in the middle of the woods, surviving. And this was, again, as a teenager, 15, 16 years old. Yeah, it was fun. So when I got older and saw everything for what it was, I guess it was back in my fear porn days, back when I was listening to Alex Jones. So probably like 2008, 2009, something like that. I just thought, you know what? We just need to do a complete and total reset. And that's the only way to do it. From the ashes, the phoenix will rise. But I don't think that's the best way at this point.
I don't know. I don't think you can fix it.
I think that's happened over and over and over. That's why we see all this old hidden ancient archaeology showing that there's been advanced civilization here forever, and repeatedly evidence that there's been huge something happening
It's frozen
repeatedly.
in the ice. That's why we have our text message notifications turned on, so that when they find whatever's in the ice in Antarctica, they'll be able to tell everybody all about it.
Whatever's shooting up those crazy beams, right?
Well,
Breaking
that's
physics.
completely off topic, but as I've got the page open from when we were talking on Wednesday, do you want me to
Left
read?
turn, wait, signal, left turn. Okay,
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Well, no, it's on topic, and it's woo way out there, so I'm still there. Anyway, quote: we also got the following communication from, quote, the head of the CIA's clandestine services in XXX, redacted to protect source, working out of the US Embassy from XXX-XXX. Anyway, in regards to the Rothschilds, my buddy is a personal friend with Nathaniel Nate de Rothschild, who lives a very quiet and discreet life in New York City. They went to Harvard Business School together back in the day. It concerns Antarctica, where Antarctica is opening up a wormhole. Yes, there is an opening, in quotation marks, to other dimensions down there. Due to the extremely high magnetic shifts going on in and near Antarctica, it's literally tearing a new fabric in the dimensional field. Where have I heard this before? Anyway, edit. This is the reason why all those government leaders went down there. This is why they shut off Antarctica to the public and so forth. The public only gets 5% of the story, and now you have the other side. Dun dun dun. Yeah, I wonder how Mr. Brahma's doing these days.
I think he might have become a comedy character and started doing his own little one-man show there. Hashtag Dez ain't going nowhere.
That is what he said, though, wasn't it? About a temporary gate opening. That's what he was talking about.
Yep. Ever get the feeling you've been played?
Well, didn't get played much.
No, not really. No, it didn't quite work.
No.
But anyway, I won't jump to conclusions or anything, but I can see the puzzle pieces slotting into place, so to speak. Sorry, Josh.
Wasn't the gate supposed to open a year ago?
Yeah.
Did
just
the gate
about
open a year ago?
to say that.
We need to get in touch with our perimeter crew. And
It'd be about this time last year, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was.
that they were going to go. That's right. No, it was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Is that why James disappeared?
It was a year ago. It was a year ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was a year ago. I was in Oregon when all that was still quite happening.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
For sure it was. I know. I was there in Oregon. That's without a doubt last summer.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the only way I can key into a time frame is that I was in Oregon. Otherwise, I'd be floundering going, oh, it could have been 2 years.
It's been an eventful year, yeah. No, I agree. I could do the same. I wouldn't know if it was 5 years ago unless I could put some sort of semblance to it. Yeah. Yeah, so a year ago they went offline. Obviously, I'm not putting any credibility into this at all. In case you can hear that. But yeah, the narrative does seem to be: look at Antarctica, something is happening, and it involves extraterrestrials of some sort.
Who was the guy? Come on. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. That was Cliff High, I think. That was creating the web bots that was crawling the internet. And he came up with all this Antarctic stuff like 10 years ago, saying in the very near future, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out about the Antarctic. So he's been pushing it for a long time. And I recommend people go back and listen. Now, granted, he's not a flat earther, but if you take the information in and put it in the reference frame of flat earth, right, just because he's not a flat earther doesn't make what he's saying necessarily bad. He's just skewed in his wrong perception.
Yeah, but Josh, I mean, don't get me wrong, I used to be a great big fan of Mr. Cliff High as well, and all the other people that navel gazed. But to be fair, he never saw flat Earth coming either, and his whole shtick is seeing things coming. And when you have a meteoric, parabolic uptick in flat Earth that happened in 2015, 14, 15, then he missed that wave completely, and has still barely talked about flat Earth, if not in a ridiculing way. So, nah, he won't be getting another $10 out of me.
Whoa. I'm not saying go pay the man money and subscribe. There's plenty of things out there. But again, I don't want to necessarily throw the baby out with the bathwater just because maybe he didn't see flat Earth coming in his particular program that he wrote that's supposed to predict web stuff. You know, it's all parameters.
How could you not see that coming? Even in his space fart, goat fart, whatever it is folder, how could you not see the uptick of people chattering about flat Earth? I mean, we saw it months and months and months before Cliff High even spoke about it. It just cracks me up. I'm sorry.
I don't even remember hearing him speak about it. So the way I understand it was his programs are predictive as well, right? So it's not like when it happened, I'm sure he saw it when it happened, yeah. But I don't think his bot, again, predicted that this uptick in flat Earth would happen. But again, how advanced is this AI? It's all based on parameters. It's still just a bot that's crawling around the web. I mean,
well, it's not even that. It is, but it's a bot that is spewing out data to Cliff High, and Cliff High is interpreting that data with the Cliff High slant on it, which has, if you're into aliens and stuff, then that's what you're going to see. If you're into flat Earth, then that's what you're going to see. If it's I'm sorry, I'm going to stop being negative.
I'm not still going to say take what he says as fact, because I don't invest that much into Cliff High. I'm saying it's interesting. I don't know what the F is going on in Antarctica, but Cliff High has some interesting things to say about it, and that was sort of the whole point of my qualification at the beginning, was he's going to come at you with the whole baller perspective and everything that entails, so you just take the information and skew it yourself. Now, his is already skewed. He took the information, skewed it through his lens, now skew it through yours, and it's got pretty interesting information. At the very least, it's effing interesting.
No, I agree. I mean, I've just quoted, what's his face? Ben Fulford, for crying out loud. So, I know you're not endorsing or telling people to go over there and sign up for it, and neither am I with Ben Fulford. I think we're both sort of highlighting roughly the same sort of thing. There's a flutter about it, isn't there? And I would put Cliff and Ben on the same sort of new media, new mainstream media level. Like David Icke and I don't know, RT.
No Alex Jones?
Who? He never existed. He's gone. I've never heard of him.
Hey, thanks for jumping on that chat.
Joe Hicks comes back out, right?
Big shout out to Constance Bruins there in chat, I see. Sorry, I have chat open and it's going, but it's sort of out of my field of view. I can either look at my soundboard and wait by chance to hit a sound on my soundboard, or I can pay attention and participate in chat. Guess what I'm not doing?
Right, I just went back to chat and said hey when I saw Constance pop in there.
I saw that.
Handstand.
Everybody, I'm sorry I can't say hi on there when I'm on the phone.
I'm never able to keep up with it because I get lost.
Sorry, what were you saying, Zach? You were saying hi to everybody in chat?
Yeah, I was just saying hi. I can't jump into chat when I'm on my phone. They won't let me use my internet and my phone at the same time since I have such horrible connection out here. But I just want to say hi to everybody. Thanks for being here, all that good stuff. Really appreciate it.
I concur. Hello, everyone in chat. I'm unfortunately not blessed to be able to talk and type at the same time. But just let me know if you want me to stop talking.
You was saying there, guys, about kind of putting it in the public eye and stuff. And I think I stumbled across a film. Have you heard of that film, Nazis on the Moon?
Yes, it's brilliant, hilarious.
Well, there's a new one coming out. and there's a little trailer to it. I'll share it with you. We can't get a strike. It's a trailer, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Or are you gonna share it with us, or are you going to share it with everybody else? Or are you going to do both?
Or if
Hold on,
Walt
what is
don't moan
happening?
at me, I'll screen share.
But we better mute up just in case, because we don't know how sideways this could go.
Could go bad, couldn't it? I'll give it a go. Right, I'll screen share. And then I'll press play on here.
So look what happens when I stop talking.
Sorry,
Unless you've got the sound going and we can't hear it again.
No, I
All
was
the fire I used to play with when I was a kid, I can still start a fire with one match. I love that.
it's a guy thing.
I played with fire a lot when I was younger.
You know who doesn't care?
Breaking leaves, just like
So you know who doesn't care about making a fire with only one match? 99% of women. And I would say who think it's cool, probably about 86% of men, according to scientists.
Really? Is that how it goes?
Yep.
Well, apparently none of this is going out because Adam's playing something in the background, and
Yeah, I don't see
as
it.
usual, we're not hearing it.
Yeah, we're not seeing it either.
They're kicking us.
Oh, wait. I see it on one side, but not on the
I
other.
can see it, but we can't hear it. So we'll be talking over it now and pissing everyone off. But we'll just wait until it's finished then.
Huh.
That's a plumber's hand if ever I saw one.
Take it easy, Blondie. It's done.
Good. Then we can begin.
I can't freaking wait.
That burning looks cool. I like that effect. I dig it.
That's
Hashtag Iron Sky.
I thought that was just full of so much symbology from Antarctica to the.
yeah, that's awesome all the way around. Both for it's hidden in plain sight and just because I can't wait.
We couldn't hear it, you muppet.
Well, I don't know why. It's really loud in
That
my
probably
head.
saved us a copyright strike, probably, maybe, hopefully.
No, because it went out.
Yeah, but
He's hitting us.
we've offered
mate.
it considered.
He's punching us. He's punishing us.
Oh, you know why? I only press share screen.
Dun,
You didn't share screen and sound?
Oh, you see. Operator error again.
Well, mystery solved. No wonder we can see the screen but not hear the sound.
Yeah. I've just recalled my keystrokes and yeah. Sorry, guys. I could do it again
We really need to
for your benefit.
Can you put it on the top of the agenda for pre-show meeting next? Anyway, moving on. So, what was that about? Sorry.
It's just, I think Nazis in the Hollow Earth riding dinosaurs. Well, you get to it from Antarctica.
This is
By transmutating your hand and becoming some kind of hybrid creature and then going through a portal doorway thing. It's what I got out of it. Anyway.
I saw she grew a plumber's hand there.
Right, there you go. I heard you tell my hand reference.
No!
Yeah.
Is that a euphemism of some sort?
He's just trying to crowbar it in again.
This plumber.
So, yes, Antarctica is the place to watch, which makes me completely think that
Right.
the north is where the action is.
Everything flows downhill to the north.
Although apparently England's, or the UK, or whatever the fuck you want to call it these days, has just sent 8,000 troops into the Arctic to counter the Russian, I don't know, whatever the hell.
What?
The UK's just sent 8,000 or 800 or 8 troops into the Arctic to counter the Russian threat.
That'll scare him, won't it?
Hey, you guys want to go counter the Russian threat?
Yeah, let's go counter the Russian threat.
All right, come on, let's go.
Bunch of pissheads from the Isle of Faroe got in their boat, never seen again. Conspiracy.
Odd. Little games.
I'm sure you said before the show that you had thousands of things to talk about.
I'm looking at them. I see a whole bunch right here. Kepler.
Doesn't take a hint, does he?
You know Kepler Space Telescope? Yeah, it's gone. It's dead. It's going to sleep. It's forever. They're no longer going to be able to pretend that those images are real.
Oh.
Unless it comes back and wakes up, like they sometimes do.
40 years later.
Yeah, that's always interesting.
Gotta love those batteries.
It's like a crapshoot. You just never know. What sucks is the odds are it's probably going to come back to life. My money says we'll hear about Kepler in, probably another 30, 40 years.
Is that maybe that's why I keep all my old dead batteries, like AA batteries and things, in a tub out the back, and keep trying them every now and again, just in the hope that they're going to work again and come back to life. And
what you got to do is build a copper pyramid structure and place all your batteries underneath there and see what happens.
Well, that's something I could do, actually.
You'd need pipe bending equipment for that.
John, do you have any pipe bending equipment?
Well, funny you should mention that. I do have an industrial pipe bending piece of equipment in the middle of my lounge as we speak.
Is that for
Your
plumbing?
life must be
Plumbing? Or
complete.
what do you do with that?
That's up to 35 millimeter of pipe I can bend. So there you go.
So if I had 40 mil pipe, are you any use to me?
540 mil.
Or 40 mil?
40 mil pipe. No, I can do 35. I can do 35, 22, 15, and 28.
But not 40.
Who wants 40? I'd give it a go. Wrap it around something.
That's the spirit. That's what I like to hear.
You fill it with water and freeze it, you see, and then you wrap it around a telegraph pole or something. That's the way to do it. Or sand. Sand works.
If it's only 5 mil, right? What's the worst could happen?
Yeah, I haven't tried it with 40 mil, but yeah, 5 mil will do nicely.
Well, it's only that 5 mil difference between 35 and 40. How bad could it be? What's the worst that could happen?
It could be parabolic and follow some sort of weird curve that a bunch of Kipper-tied Afro-Australian science program people talk about. Now, if that's not a bloody cue, Adam.
Well, that sounds a bit like my link to nowhere.
Next stop, nowhere.
Or a point of absolutely no point. Just something. I'll cue it up, and there isn't anything to. I just watched it and thought, oh, that's cool.
Hey, Walt, I have Ozzy Osbourne in my head.
Right? Sharon!
The link to nowhere leads to me. Times have changed. Times have strange. Here I come, but I ain't this. Nope, that's Mama. I'm coming home. Looking.
You were mixing your metaphors, but that's fine.
It's all the.
It all flows back to Ozzy.
I'm glad I'm not the only one talking shit tonight.
Oh no. Are you kidding? Actually, I had a full 8-hour day because I do the shows in the morning and the night. So it's been a long time since I worked a full 8-hour day on a Friday. I mean, really, I woke up at 3 and got ready for work, came downstairs, did 2 hours, jumped up, threw everything at Walt and said, hey, Walt, you take care of it all. And I went to work. And then I got off work and I picked up my son and I come straight down here. And we had about 10, 20 minutes and then we went on the air. So I'm surprised I've not been talking more shit for what it's worth.
Speaking of the show this morning, if you haven't checked out what we do over there on Truth Frequency Radio, it's called The Ironworks. Josh and I and Zach just kind of hang out and tell people what's going on in the lovely world around them. We tend to hover over space lettuce quite a bit, but that's only because they keep throwing it at us. Damn it. But yeah, definitely get over there and check it out. This morning we had our buddy Alan Holman pop in and let us know that cannabis will be legal the 17th on sale legally in Canada. Congrats to our Canadian brethren, cousins.
What, throughout the whole of Canada?
Absolutely, sir.
Wow. To anyone, recreationally or just medicinal?
I'm assuming recreationally full bore. I didn't check that actually.
Wow.
I did look into the increase of availability to get it here in my state. At first, it was pretty much going to be only if you were at death's door, literally, where you have access. But now they've opened it up to constant pain, post-traumatic stress, lots of pretty, common complaints that it is allowed to be used for in other legal states. So hopefully we'll.
I'll tell you what. I've said this before, and I still see this trend. And Cliff, I eat your heart out. But there's something about the Canadians. Ever since the law movement back in 2005 onwards, maybe, that I was aware of anyway, the majority of people in it are Canadians, about Canadian, or about around Canada. I don't know if anyone else is seeing this. That is my really bad accent.
What are you talking about?
Boys.
For you. I don't know if anyone else is seeing this, but I'm just seeing a massive outflux of Canadians in the Flat Earth movement, in the law movement, in everything. Everyone I've ever listened to now
say that, John.
says about.
I guess late 80s, I found out about a gentleman named Mark Emery in Canada who decided he would become the seed keeper, and he became like the go-to guy for genetics, keeping land races alive that were from other countries and just doing that thing with cannabis seeds and like arrested for it constantly, quality of product. I mean, so, and that was back at least 80s, mid 80s, and all the High Times mags I used to read. He was one of the first cannabis warriors I remember knowing by name. So
He went to jail, didn't he, Emery?
a few times, yes, he has.
I thought for a minute there we had him on the show a couple of 3 years ago, but maybe
I
not.
don't think so. It'd be a wonderful thing to do, though.
But no, it's just an observation.
We had our own cannabis expert, Anthony Curie, on, and we need to get him back on soon because he's also quite versatile in that area.
Oh, he just sent me a video too.
Yes, he did, sir. Oh, drooling.
Yeah, this guy that I'm hanging out with here, he had his own cannabis farm up in Michigan, and he was making medicine for people. Yeah, really, really cool guy.
Wow, Michigan. That's not a state I immediately think of, Zach. That's cool.
Why would you walk away from that, Zach? What happened?
Walk away from it. Oh, why did he walk away?
Yeah.
He was done with society, and he wanted to live the nomad life. His YouTube handle name is actually Jeep Nomad. He lives in his Jeep.
Jeepnomad, yeah? Did you get
What
that?
now?
I'm just spelling it. Jeepnomad, yeah?
Yeah, Jeep
Cool.
Nomad, yeah.
Alright, cool. I'll look that up after the show.
Well, unfortunately, because there's something called the Nomad made by Jeep, you're going to probably have to drop us a link. Because that's all I keep getting.
I'll ask them to make sure if it's space in there, if it's all one word, or because you know how it is trying to find like THC Anthony's thing.
Oh yeah.
If you don't put in every single
Exactly. That's cool. Just get it to us, and we'll pop it in the chat at some point, or put it in the description for sure.
Well, just think of all the people they're going to be able to grow strains of space cannabis.
Now,
You
I'll
just
buy
thought
that
you
for
were getting high
$1.
before.
$5,000 a beer.
Right?
Piss
Well,
beer.
See, this is the one I've only heard the headline for.
So yeah,
So,
here it is.
Fill me in.
Scientists interested in cannabis as a subject for pharmaceutical studies may find an unlikely new home for their research into the plant, its byproducts and biochemistry. Aboard, wait for it, the International Space Station. Because, I mean, hell, if you're going to claim it has absolutely zero medicinal benefits, and in fact, it's so harmful, you need to schedule it as a narcotic. If you're going to do some actual research into the benefits, why not do it in effing space, right? Because that's where you need to spend your money.
Reefer Madness on the ISS.
So, yes, indeed, weed is going to space thanks to the works of a small Lexington, Kentucky-based startup called Space Tango. Lexington, Kentucky. Isn't that where they make the jelly? That Kentucky jelly, I think. Anyway, the company makes a clean room laboratory in a microwave-sized box. There you go, the size of a microwave.
Wow.
Because space is tight in the International Space Station. How's that for irony? Water everywhere. And
Yeah, all those gorilla suits and guitars and Christ
Cameras.
knows what else. Yeah, bits of snot and hair and yeah.
They've got cameras, like two complete walls just filled with cameras and lenses and just photography equipment just strapped to the wall.
It amazes me why those cameras aren't on the outside, you know? It just makes perfect sense to Velcro them to the outside.
Why are they sending it in a box?
Well, because that's the size of the clean room laboratory. It's got to be the size of a microwave.
Because
It's just a
that's
small clean room.
roughly the size of the box that fits under the balloon that carries around about 2 stone up into the something sphere.
Okay, so what are they doing in this lab then?
So what they have these little thing called Cube Lab modules, and these modules are going to slot into this larger Tango Lab container, right? So companies like Anheuser-Busch can send barley up into the space station to observe how the crop could be cultivated in environments approaching zero gravity. Now, Space Tango is taking its own steps to develop experiments how the zero gravity environment could affect cannabis cultivation. Alongside two Kentucky hemp cannabis cultivation and retail companies, which provide hemp genetics, an online retailer of hemp-derived CBD therapeutics, Space Tango has set up its own subsidiary to research how microgravity can be used to better cultivate particular strands of hemp for medical compounds.
Just reading this shit lowers your
It's
IQ.
so kids.
It does. Every morning it makes me feel dumb reading this aloud. I truly do. I feel stupid that I'm reading this idiocy aloud to people.
And so I think that was the extent of their explanation for you, Adam, is they have modules that they called Cube Lab, and they slot into larger containers that they call Tango Lab. And I'm
So
guessing
they're not taking like weed up. They're not like taking. That's what I was thinking. You might just have it in a bag, hadn't it? It's not going to last long. But so they're taking it up and they're going to grow. So they've got a little grow room, is what you're saying.
I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're just going to start some seeds.
Well, that makes more sense, doesn't it? Because if you are up there in space, you can't keep having your dealer come round. Better get your yourself a little grow room. So I think that's sensible.
Well, Chris Hadfield just takes a big old fat sack up with him before he leaves.
Big old sack.
They're high enough as it is, aren't they?
Oh, is there ever such a thing? So, I mean, really, this goes on. They drone on and on, but...
And,
Do you reckon it's like, wow, must be good air filtering? Do they have one like clam bake room?
The coppola is just a
fart room?
giant bong, isn't it? The coppola. In the gorilla suit. Another
While you
giant
were reading
bong.
that, I was doing a bit of research on the topic, and it turns out that Canada is actually going to be the second nation in the world after Uruguay to formally legalize cannabis. Legalization, not decriminalization.
When did
legalization.
Uruguay do it? How long
Don't know.
ago, do you know?
Don't
It's
have a
been-
clue.
A couple years, as I think. I want to say 3 or 4.
Yeah, it would take me a little
I
more
don't
research.
think that's right. I think Portugal decriminalised cannabis over a
I'm
decade
reading
ago.
this on Wikipedia. Thank you. No, I'm sorry.
But no, I remember I was watching it with you know, I was watching it keenly, that Portugal decriminalised all drugs, not just cannabis, all drugs, back about over a decade ago, and crime dropped by 50%, and assault dropped by 50%, and violence and everything basically just got better.
Looks
So, yeah,
like
you get rid of the black
June
market,
2000.
rid of all your criminals right there. You know, they don't have a way to make money doing things illegally, so they have to find other ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's not sort of rocket science, is it? But apparently it is.
Same thing with guns over here. You go to Chicago, New York, LA, you have a lot better chance of getting mugged than if you go down in Texas to Austin, where even grandma's carrying a little 38 in her purse. You know?
Yep.
Nobody messes with grandma down in Texas because people know, hey, grandma might be packing. But in
Absolutely.
Chicago, I think grandma gets mugged all the time.
There's a direct
Grandma's
correlation, I think they call it.
Looks like Uruguay began their path to legalization in December of 2013 with legislation, but it actually took all the way through 2017 for 16 pharmacies to become authorized to sell cannabis commercially.
And what,
Before that, it was growers clubs and that kind of thing, kind of like Oregon was when I first took my family up there, my mom, and tried to get her set up with that. It was a grower, and you had to have a person that signified as your grower. And
So
it
what
was
was
that kind of
Wiki's
situation.
claim then? That Canada is the second, what, continent or the
Second
country?
to legalize, yes.
What about the Netherlands and Egypt? I mean,
We need to
I
get-
remember
that's-
when I was 19 smoking a massive shisha in
Right.
Egypt, and no one batted an eyelid. In fact, they sold it to me. What horseshit! It's been legalised. There's probably more countries that it's legal in than are not legal. If you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Well, here in my state, according to some bills that just were passed, it is now available for Parkinson's, glaucoma, severe muscle spasms, chronic pain, and post-traumatic stress disorder.
Well, even in Australia, in Western Australia, they had a government in that you were allowed to grow 5 plants per household or whatever, and then the next government came in and banned it all, and then the next government came in and said you're allowed to grow 6 plants, and it changed every other bloody every few years or so. But yeah, I know that's not a country, but I don't know. Sounds like horseshit to me.
Well, speaking of horseshit, it turns out for anybody that was waiting with bated breath for SpaceX to send their first commercial flight crew, turns out you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer. And the theme of this article, I think, is why you never try to get a quote from a company executive. Because in Bremen, Germany, that's according to spacenews.com, a SpaceX executive said on the 3rd of October that the company's first commercial crew test flight could be delayed until early of 2019 because of paperwork issues. I mean, why else?
Lettuce.
I mean, I'm serious. I think they cornered him and they asked him, and this is what just came tumbling out of his mouth. No, there's no way we're doing it because paperwork.
Yeah, because Clive in accounts, he's been ill, and he's been off all week.
Right. He
And
didn't
he's
tell
just
anybody
not
what
on
his
it.
stamps.
Yeah, he's not got the stuff filled in, so we can't let that rocket go.
Just can't do it. Says they've been working really hard to get it done this year. And it turns out he said the hardware might even be ready. But we might still have to do some paperwork on the certification side of it. So it's going to be a close call whether we are going to fly this year or not because of paperwork. Yes, the hardware to do this isn't ready either, but we're not going to be able to do it because of paperwork. But we're working really hard to get it done. How long do you think this carrot and stick's going to go on?
Well, he did say it may be ready by the end of the year. I mean, they were looking to do it by the end of the year, so they're hoping the technology will be ready by the end of the year.
Oh.
In that article, it's for sure maybe going to be ready by this end of this year, maybe. Pretty sure, almost certainly, maybe.
How long can it take to organise 100, 200 people, overly enthusiastic people, and just get them in a room and jump at a big screen, jump around? I mean, can't be that hard. There can't be that much paperwork involved in that.
Here we go. Check this out. The revised Boeing schedule announced in early August caused for an uncrewed flight of its CST-100 Starliner this year or early next year, followed by crewed test flights in the middle of 2019. And that's exactly where they are, says Chris Ferguson, crew and missions operation director for the Starliner program at Boeing. And that was during an October 2nd briefing. So Boeing's hot on the heels of SpaceX, although he did decline to say when Boeing would provide more specific dates for those missions, noting that he's been in flight training, and NASA announced on the 3rd that Ferguson, a former NASA astronaut, would be on the crew of the Starliner test flight, along with NASA astronaut Eric Boe and Nicole Mann.
Bowman.
Fortunate for this crowd.
You're
did you
kidding.
see
I was trying, John.
did,
2001, freaking Space
did you
Odyssey.
see yesterday though the bit about Elon Musk being accused of fraud? But not by anyone, not by us, of course. You know, we don't count. But the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC.
So somebody, if I'm wrong, but I think that he is even no longer the head of Tesla. I think he was asked to resign.
He indeed was asked to step down. Yeah.
Well, it says here the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on Thursday accused Tesla Inc. chief executive Elon Musk of fraud and sought to ban him as a director of a public company, saying he made a series of, quote, false and misleading tweets about potentially taking the electric car company private. I mean, small change, but in terms of fraud.
Oh, I heard this. This reminded me of you, Josh, because the guy that was commentating said it had something to do with weed, why he set the share price at 420.
Yeah, that's
hilarious.
what I
Oh
thought.
my God.
As soon as I heard that, I thought 420.
Yeah.
Pissed.
Well, see, there was a whole thing about him setting the price and the reason he took the company private, and I don't know, I don't remember the exact story as to. We even talked.
The thing was that he tweeted that he had funding secured, and apparently he hadn't spoken to any funding agencies. But anyway, that's just nonsense politics. But I mean, the guy's a fraud.
Saudi Arabia. It was like, I think it was the United Arab Emirates, or it was Saudi Arabia, something like that. But it was some minister over there of something who apparently gave him a wink and a nod over a phone call and told him, yeah, we'll go ahead and give you some funding. So he went on his word, and then I guess did this, and then
and I can believe that sort of thing happens. But I mean, to accuse Musk of fraud for this sort of petty paper shuffling is just bollocks when he's clearly hoaxing the world about sending his silly rockets into space and landing them like I can't remember what it is, piglets on the moon.
Well, he screwed up when he was so flippant about the pedo remark that he kept hammering on with the rescue worker from the K-Man or whatever.
Yeah, the diver bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just become too much trouble, and they've just got rid of him, haven't they? Do you know what I mean?
While he was their good boy, he was a good distraction. Now they're going to let his destruction be the distraction.
Well, you're not talking about the ridiculousness of putting a car into space, are you, anymore?
Oh no, he had technology that would let us go to Mars and Venus and other places on Earth, right?
Oh yeah, and don't forget, this is the most Falcon boring man on the globe.
I think he's gone Britney Spears on us. I wouldn't be surprised if he shaved his head next.
Right, his program is.
Well, yeah, here's a question for you.
That's what weed does, though. It shakes loose your MK Ultra programming. He got that big hit.
Yep. I was going to ask if you could recommend one thing to deprogram somebody that you could just get your hands readily upon. What would be that one great deprogram?
Oh, I know. Oh, my hands up.
Well, you do it. What you got?
Marijuana, tea, cannabis.
Funny how that works. I bet you just are worried that he's not going to play their little game. He's not going to be the sycophant, the guy that's going to jump when they say jump. No, he's no longer willing to toe the line, and they just want to cut ties, and they'll just discredit him at every juncture now.
Yeah, I think they have to have some stupid people that they can throw under the bus that aren't in on it almost. Because, yeah, he may be a computer genius or whatever, but that doesn't make you smart about everything else. He could be getting fooled. I'm not saying that he is. I'm not trying to defend the guy or anything like that, but maybe Elon Musk really isn't as smart as everybody thinks he is, and he's just one of their puppets that they're, you know.
I think he's one of the thickest people I've ever met or ever listened to.
Yes, thank you. He seems like
Sorry,
an idiot.
Zach, I talked right over you there. I was just saying, I think he
worries, Zach.
sounds thick as shit, but that's just me.
I know. We've had this discussion before. Everything on TV is fake. I agree.
But
I still
you're right.
Stooges that aren't pretty.
Oh, you're right. I mean, he is literally portrayed as, you know, the second coming of some sort of tech guru genius that, you know, Tesla-esque. I mean, look at it. Well, his company's Tesla. He's climbing on the bandwagon, but I can't see him being any more than a puppet that has realised he's got a hand shoved up his arse, and he's not particularly happy about it, and they're gonna shut him down sharpish.
So, maybe I'm wrong, but the way I understand it was all he did was create a second-rate way to collect payments on the internet. Yeah?
PayPal.
And then,
yeah.
Well, no, he created a second-rate version of PayPal. There was PayPal, and then there was whatever his silly shit was. And then I think PayPal bought him, or maybe he bought into, I think he sold his company to PayPal, maybe, is how that worked out. And that's where he got.
Right. Yeah.
He just created something that wasn't as good as PayPal, and PayPal bought it.
Well, it's like so many people that are, as Crow would say, constructs, you know, like Bill Gates, who just stumbled across DOS and bought it off his mate for $100 and then created Microsoft trillion, you know, dollar company. It just seems like one of these people that's either knowingly or unknowingly been set up, basically. And if he toes the line, he'll be taken care of. If he doesn't do what he's meant to do, then he'll be destroyed. And I think we're seeing the process of him being destroyed because he's not doing what he's meant to be doing. And I think wasn't it him who said something quite leading about, you know, we all know who the media is owned by. Twitter will get you.
Really? I missed
shot in
that
the
one.
face.
Oh my goodness, that was awesome. If he said that, I missed it.
Oh, he did, yeah. Well, I'm only going on what I saw, but yeah, from what I can tell, he made a comment along the lines of, "Don't you know who owns the media?" Question mark, question mark. Like I say, Twitter will get you shot in the face every day of the week.
That's crazy. So I'm sitting here on spacenews.com, and I saw a link, so I clicked it, and I thought it was pretty funny. There's an international symposium for personal and commercial spaceflight coming up Wednesday, October 10th at 8 a.m. all the way through Thursday, October 11th at 5 p.m. for a mere $1,049. And for your $1,049, it's going to be a dialogue between the speakers and the audience. We're together to capture the growth, diversification, and momentum of the commercial space industry at the time of the conference. Now, short, powerful talks capture the direction of the sectors focused on supplying new space services and the important relationships developing within the user community. Get focused, curated content that assures your investment of time is well spent. Networking is superior. Join us. View previous content at ispcs.com/2017-videos.
Now, it's funny you should mention that, because one of our crew has gone ahead and set up a GoFundMe account to raise that exact amount of money so that we can go to this conference and stand there and go, you're all wrong, the Earth's flat, you muppets. Obviously, I'm taking the piss for those in the States.
Could that get there?
But I would like to segue from this to cross over to Anthony Riley's Hiss Boo GoFundMe account. That
Just wanted to say that this is going to be in New Mexico, for what it's
Okay.
worth.
Oh,
Las
Oh,
Cruces.
let me
Mexico.
finish what I'm saying before I get hung.
Las Cruces, New Mexico.
I figured you might have
That's
been.
not very far from where I'm at.
See, for $1,000, you can go ask some questions for some speakers. Whoever's going to speak up here, it's got to be somebody from NASA. You can ask them all about personal and commercial space flight. That's going to be super exciting.
They want me to spend $1,000 to ask them questions.
1,049 to sit in the audience and listen, and they will probably maybe take some questions after.
will there be an astronaut you can talk to?
I'm sure.
So
Oh,
I could-
wow.
that
At
kind
least
of
the
money on
space
something
suit.
that's stupid. I'm sorry.
It'll at least be a spacesuit with its hand out. You can go up and take pictures.
It's gotta be something. Yeah.
But I would like to say on a more important note that I'm glad to see that Anthony Riley's GoFundMe got its goal.
Yeah, well done, Anthony.
And he's the more I listen to this, the more I support it, the more I think it's absolutely the way to go, or one way to go, not the way to go, but one way to go, is to get a paper. What Anthony's doing is getting a paper through a university, peer reviewed, and it's going to raise certain questions that we have been asking for many years now. And so I'm absolutely chuffed that Ant has raised this amount of money. Tony has raised this amount of money, and is on his way to doing a postdoctorate. I think that's really important.
Yeah, this is a lot bigger than most people think. Because we've been trying to get it into academia to where they have to address it, and it's been hard. Even very people that are in academia, people that know people in academia that I've talked to, they're trying to get the word out to other academics, but the other academics just look at them like they're insane. Won't even give it a second look. But this is going to make them look at it.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I agree.
really excited about it because I mean, I've been saying for a long time that I'd like to set up some sort of court case or flat Earth court case or something along those lines that would incorporate the principles of evidence into this, and on that playing field it gets leveled, and NASA and those and SpaceX and other nonsense space agencies would not even be considered as a reliable witness. I mean, they would literally be thrown out of court for just saying, well, this is the way it is because we show you this is the way it is. No one else can test it, no one can measure it, no one can see it, no one can do it for themselves. So I share Tony's motivation on this, that law is the way to go, and I think this is a fantastic foundation. And on that note, I'll shut up. And yeah, good on you, Anthony. Please hit me up if you want any proofreading. And I also know a flat earth lawyer, 30 years lawyer and a PhD pilot, who has just been through the PhD process. So let me know if you want any contacts being made on that front.
Cool.
That is really cool that he reached his goal, though. I was worried it was going to be one of those things that kind of stalled out. Because there's been so many successful campaigns, so to speak.
There was a big chunk, like 300, excuse me, 300 odd quid from Mike Kavanagh. But other than that, it was a volume of, nice little donations, wasn't it, that made it up? It was quite impressive, really. Again, just the community rallied, and like I said, I think a lot of people can see the value in it, and yeah, good luck, mate, because he's got a lot of work ahead. Finding the little niche ways in.
That's what I was thinking. Just the fundraising is just your step through the door. What people may not realise is that he has an absolute hill to climb to get this thing from conception to reality, and I would like to offer him as much help as I can, because I can't offer him any financial support, but any help that I can, then I'll be more than willing. That sounds like Riley's keyboard.
Oops. Yeah, he's got the loudest keyboard, hasn't he?
You've got the second loudest.
Right.
No, it's my mouse that's really loud. My squeaky mouse.
Oh, here's one from European Space Agency. There's a lot of space debris floating around the planet. Down on Earth, we hardly notice, but to raise awareness, Dutch artist Don Roosgaard has created his Space Waste Lab on display at KAF in Almere from Friday, October the 5th. When you look up at the sky, the chances are slight that you'd spot any space debris. But in December 2017, it became possible that the Maasvlakte in the Dutch city of Rotterdam.
Bless you.
Thank you. There on the remote sandy beach, Dutch artist Don tested his new art project, the Space Waste Lab, by pointing powerful light columns to the heavens. Don creates an arrow of light that points directly at a piece of space debris. My goodness, that's hilarious. It was a very special sight to behold, says the ESA engineer Michael Van Pelt, advising on the project. His involvement began 2 years ago during ESA's open day at its ESTEC test center. A member of the studio Roosengard visited our Clean Space stand. At that time, the studio was working on the Smog-Free project, targeting reducing air pollution. But Don views space debris as the smog of the universe.
Jesus Christ.
ESA's Clean Space team is a leading expert in the field of space debris. One of the projects this team is working on is Deorbit, a mission to catch and dispose of a derelict ESA-owned European satellite. An ESA-owned European satellite. Makes sense. As opposed to the ESA-owned Egyptian satellite. That would have been pretty weird. There are around 29,000 items of debris, more than 10 centimeters in diameter, posing a danger to working satellites and the International Space Station, and potentially us. Are you scared? Very large and solid objects, like rocket parts, can also hit the ground after re-entering the atmosphere, Van Pelt adds. On any given moment, 10 large pieces of space debris the size of satellites or a rocket stage are floating around right above your head. explains Van Pelt. And artist Don Rosengard wants to give these objects a face with his space waste lab. Oh, I think Mr. Van Pelt gets the title of space waste. So over 4 weekends in Almere, we'll host a live performance where light columns, not lasers, light columns will point towards objects that are flying overhead. What makes the live performance unique is that the objects are really flying overhead at the moment that they are shown, says Van Pelt. The system uses real-time data provided by tracking services that keep an eye on our space debris. Thank goodness. Isn't that convenient? So aside from the live performances, which will be held on the 5th and the 6th of October, and the 9th through the 10th of November, and the 7th and the 8th of December, and the 18th and 19th of January, the Kunsthallen Almere. Oh, come on. This is ridiculous. All right. They will also host an indoor exhibition. One video projection will use real-time data to show the debris flying over Almere, while another will show Earth's overall debris halo from space. Now, the indoor exhibition will also display the ESA-provided artifacts, including test plates simulating a 7-kilometer debris strike, and part of an actually flown solar panel from the Hubble Space Telescope left with debris craters after 8 years in orbit. Oh,
Bullshit.
well, it's got to be like an effing magnet. That's got to be scienced right there. I mean, right there now. Why is it the solar panels are collecting all of this space debris, but nothing else on the ISS is getting hit? But the solar panels, after 8 years, apparently got pelted. Wow. Science.
They've got at least 6
And I didn't even know
holes on the
Linus
ISS.
and Lucy's dad worked in the space industry at all. I had no clue.
They're also showing the titanium fuel tank of the top stage of a Vega rocket, said Van Pelt. When tanks like these return to our atmosphere after launch, they don't always burn up entirely, but crash on Earth. To reduce risks for people living on Earth, launch organization. No. Arianespace brings Vega's upper stage back down in a controlled manner to crash a designated area in the ocean where they cannot harm anyone. Fuck you, fish. The goal of the Space Waste Lab is to create a living laboratory where the public not only gets to learn about space junk, but also gets to act as a potential source of creativity, because we're going to steal your ideas. Dutch ESA astronaut Andre Kulpers also advised Don, along with NASA sources. I'm a strong believer in cooperation between technologies and artists, says Franco Ongaro from ESA, the director of technology, engineering, and quality. We believe in what we do as a service to society, but what we often are unable to communicate is its worth effectively enough. Jesus, what a sentence. Artists not only communicate vision and feelings to the public, but help us discover aspects of our work which we are often unable to perceive. The cooperation of all the more important when dealing with issues like space junk, which may one day impact our future and our ability to draw maximum benefits from space. We need to speak in different ways to convey not just the dry, technical aspects of technology, but the emotions involved in the struggle to preserve this environment for our future generations.
Oh, I feel slightly sick.
Well, I feel that actually that's quite a profound point, and maybe Zach should head over to New Mexico and raise that at the convention.
I love it. I want to go just to see their effing bat signal. Oh, look. Yep. There's space junk. See, look. Our computer, it says space junk. See our light? Space junk. That'll be $1,000, please.
Shocking, isn't it? Just the mugging off, isn't it?
That is something. Wow. Yep. Columns of light. We're not shooting lasers at space junk. Nope. We're pointing at space junk with columns of light. Right? Spotlights. Because as soon as
there, really.
We've booked it for 2 days for the next 4 months. Beyond that, it's going to be down at the used car lot, signaling a huge sale.
Or there's a casino, I think, that just opened over there on the reservation.
Oh, my goodness. Because that's how you science that stuff out. Well, Feffet, it's not science, it's art. It's the artist's rendition. That takes some artistic license right there. Man, that's funny. That was far funnier than I expected it to be when I opened it. I'm anxious to see.
Just
what
amazing
else?
The bullshit we get fed, isn't it? To perpetuate the bullshit that we've been brought under.
Well, you know they're running out of things to science up in space, obviously. Because
they're putting it in the hands of an artist to remove any criticism, aren't they? A lot of they're not tracking anything. It was just artists, you know what I mean? It's now just painting the paradigm without even trying to back it up. Look at these lights, columns of light tracking. Nonsense.
So here, if you want to go ahead and present my screen to everybody, Adam. This is the latest endeavor up on the ISS. This is what they've been doing with their time. I've not seen this yet, so this this could be as funny as columns of light. You know what? F it. This is ridiculous. Why don't we get the artists and the ISS together? I want to see columns of light from the ISS. Why is this not happening? This is the test that I've been claiming since we've been talking together for the last 2 years.
Yes, sir. You surely have.
We need columns of light shown from the ground and seen from the ISS. This can do it.
Live.
Sure. Live. All right. Sorry, I'm done. I'm just gonna play this. I can't wait to see. I'm super duper excited. Astronauts.
Quote, otherwise healthy and receiving commands. Stay up to date with the latest by visiting CNET.com.
Oh, what is this? Magnets.
What happens when you stick mechanical-style watch hands on a Google Wear OS smartwatch? You get the LG Watch W7. The $450 watch aims to mix traditional watch style with high-tech smartwatch.
No.
Mixed results.
What is this
Watch
playing in
W7
the background?
You got a computer or, a video playing somewhere, dude.
With its round LCD.
I want that watch. I want that watch. I need that watch.
Why in the hell would you put an autoplay ad with volume on a page that you put an effing video? You dumb ass CNET MFers. All right.
I think you answered your own question.
Mm-hmm.
Now
I want to go back a little bit. Let's explain why it was these audio ads. Like, well, that's one way to not be able to get rid of it.
16 times around and round. The sun comes up, the sun goes down on everybody's lives. The world goes fast as we float slow. The stars above, the earth below. We look down to see the sky. And the wind blows through the window as the clouds flow. All the world glows.
I'm gonna vomit.
Oceans rage for you and me. Out here we orbit peacefully. There's space here for us all.
Please stop it, John.
Planet Earth's our carousel. To carry on, we'd all
Can't do it. Huh?
Oh my god.
Why is the
No,
wind blowing outside his windows?
Through. It's blowing through the
Through
window.
his windows. They're
Well, that's those special couple of windows that we were shown about. Was it Pettit demonstrating how they?
That's the giant bong.
Then you have a leak.
See, I don't know. It was a dream. He was sleeping and he felt this warm wind on his face. They told him it was the wind blowing through the window. What else would it be?
Look, they're doing a bit of plumbing on the outside. Bit of a leak. Bit of
Well, we've already
lovely.
we've strapped all of our wires and everything to the inside walls. What are we going to do with all this extra crap?
Well, if you've got a guitar, mate, you can't really have your plumbing on the inside because you need it for your guitar stand.
Well, we could
or
always
They
your
need a
guitar
garage.
box.
They clearly need a garage. They've got no storage. They've run out of storage space, and now they're starting to stick shit to the outside of their house. Look, they really need a garage or a storage unit, you know, or just another ISS or some shit.
Well, because when
Like a shed, an ISS shed that just kind of follows on next to it.
Exactly.
Well, yeah,
It's like
take
mom.
the
Mom
lamb.
it's like the hoarders, you know, when they just have so much crap and it just starts to overflow out to everywhere else. That's what it is.
They need
mean,
to
all
just
this stuff
tow
is probably-
the lamb. I mean, that's a tweaker shed, isn't it? And just pile it full of shite that, you know, you might use. Oh, look, we've got a real
That looks real.
a blight. No, I can't even say it now. A blight spheroid.
It's an old black.
A blat, yeah.
So I don't know if you're still
I'm
sharing
just
my
about
screen,
Oblat.
watching this dumbass.
I am.
All the girls on down home are gonna love me. Look how sensitive I am. Did you hear my song?
That looks real.
That's
Look, that looks like a
Which
Coke can.
That is absolutely a fucking soda slash.
Wait, go back. There's a fucking yeah. Please go back to the can in space. Holy
Look
shit!
at that.
There's your pop top right there. Give me a break.
Is that old Coke caffeine free one?
I think if you zoom in, it says the choice of a new generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that's the original formula. I bet not that new crap.
It says Space Zero.
It looks like R2D2 wearing
I
a
cannot
gold tinfoil
believe
hat. That is hilarious. But let's not linger on his. We'll just put 17 different images of this particular soda can in space. But we'll just flash it for just a moment. Well, what was that? Was it? Nah, that couldn't have been. Look at how
Could've been
cool
a
that
can in
is.
space. That wouldn't make
That's
sense.
pretty though. Look at. Oh my god.
50 million a day for a recyclable can? No, not at all.
Sensitive. And did you see his necklace? He's so totally in space. Look, that was real. Did you see? Look at all. I even saw clouds moving.
Wait,
What's
is
with
it really
all the
supposed to be real?
rings?
That's not supposed to be real, right? That's not
Let me
supposed to
stop.
be real, right?
Let me see. All right.
It's all the ribbons of data.
Let me stop on this.
Look, watch the ribbons.
In the not too distant future, Nixon the AD looks more realistic than this fucking set model right here.
So what is this movement supposed to be over here on the side? Is this clouds? Or is this the World Trade Centers and this is a plane going into them? Is that what I'm witnessing here?
Something like that.
What is this? What are these highlighted levels? Stories. I don't know.
They are passing this off as a model, yeah? They're not claiming this is real, surely.
We have no claim. We're just being shown it in the middle of all this real space footage. So,
yeah,
Wait,
you're right. So
why a quarter?
Gullible Muppets will go, ooh, look.
But shout out to Jeff Maynard. That was some great model work.
Now, watch up here in that upper left-hand corner. There's movement of some sort. It looks like it's clouds, like they're pretending that this is an actual city. And this is clouds as the day progresses. What the light changes as clouds. What is going on over there?
It's boats on the river, and it's the shadow on the building.
Yeah, there we go, Adam. And it's the reflection of that boat on the building because real.
Because real. What the ever loving. Well, see, he's on the ISS. So it's not New York. That's probably Sydney, right?
Well, the world's upside down there, look.
Right.
It was on the bottom bit.
See, yeah, and then they just zoom out.
Oh,
shit.
That's definitely Australia. It's the bottom bit. So
shout out Rob. Rob!
There he is.
I'll be damned.
Thinking of you, Rob. In your
That was
endless blue
they would even try
ocean. There's no land on the bottom.
There's no land, right?
Nothing to be seen. Where's Kevin Costner? He's got to be down there somewhere.
So this thing's
He's having a
orbiting every 90 minutes, but I haven't seen a bit of land yet.
What the hell is that light? I guess it could be on the
Terminator line.
So don't worry, it'll be back.
Ooh, look at all the nighttime lights.
There's the land. It was just waiting for the lights to go out before they can show us any land.
What's with the symbology on his suit? I mean, isn't that the sort
The
of
dove of peace.
have no, yeah.
I'm really digging this green screen background. It's been sitting the same way since
Hasn't
the start.
moved.
Do as they shout.
Dove column.
Stick it upside down. Set it on fire.
Columbia, Columbine. That's all the dove. Christopher Columbus.
He looks so serious too. So thoughtful. So
He's
pensive.
Look at his emoting, John. Come on.
He looks like he's trying to smolder like the Rock.
And when you have to,
And then look, ta-da! We've put some pins in the top of a beer can. See?
Are they thrusters? It's space thrusters.
I totally used to build this stuff when I was like 8. I would make these little crafts that looked like space stuff and build rockets, and this looked like boosters, and I would totally just tape them together, and it would use my imagination. I was a pretty lonely kid.
Not in a vacuum though, Josh. Surely.
No,
No,
not a vacuum.
I would have given you kudos, but stick that in a vacuum.
Yeah. Just crush it.
Be fine.
I dropped my beer.
that's Anheuser-Busch sending in their hops up to the space lab for the growth tank. That's what that is.
This video was brought to you by Anheuser-Busch. St. Louis, Missouri.
Is that what it's supposed to be flying over?
Look, that's real too.
That looks pretty flat.
All right, now I think I'm getting it. These have got to be models that he has built in the ISS.
Right, he has a lot of free time. He built, like, he's probably a budding movie maker, and he's learning his craft.
He's a miniaturist.
Right.
Do you reckon they've got like a craft module where they can go and do arts and crafts then?
Well,
Craft table.
They've got their camera bay where they have walls upon walls of cameras and equipment. They obviously have their music room. They obviously have a video editing room.
I imagine they have a whole campus, to be quite honest.
Grow room.
Probably in Greenland.
Well, grow box, at the very least.
Yeah.
A grow pod that you can insert into something else that's bigger, I'm assuming. But this is obviously...
You're throwing that lettuce out.
I mean, I don't know why they would even... Unless he made this, how else would he get this footage unless he's stop motioning all this stuff himself on a model that he built? I don't know. Because that's obviously stop motion footage. Even at 2. I mean, I can play it full speed, I suppose. I'm sure it'll look different. That's not what I wanted to do, but...
I was going to say that looked quite real. Or why would they fake it?
Why indeed?
Well, you can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Fake, yes, of course. Look, there's the black satellite.
I thought that was Nibiru.
Bum, bum, bum. No. I know the black satellite anyway.
That's it.
Thank you, John.
Even at quarter speed, this is still doesn't look like stop motion like those cars did.
So he's releasing his hit record and he's asked his buddies at NASA, can I have the best footage you've got? Or what?
I think this is stuff that he
Thanks.
shot. I can read it, I guess, if...
I'm just going to be sick again. Okay.
Well, before we wind up, if you've had one pointless video, I'm going to get my pointless video ready.
Ooh, excellent.
Give me a sec. Yeah, sat there, cool.
Well, then just a reminder, over there on TFRlive.com every Tuesday and Friday mornings from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central, or 10 a.m. to noon Greenwich Mean Time. Walt and I are over there on the Ironworks, where we cover crazy-ass stories like this and others. We have all sorts of guests on, people from Chad even. I was just thinking this morning, Salamo was one of our first guests over there.
Yes, he was.
And he was in chat this morning, too. I didn't get a chance to say hi, but he was there for a bit.
As was Zach, one of our first guests from chat.
That's right.
Yeah, so was it 101 this morning?
It was 101.
Or in 101. Congratulations, guys. It's flown by, hasn't it?
It really has.
It has flown by. Oh, man.
Got Savage on yet?
You what? I just posted my video nomination. It's only 20 minutes. Well worth a watch. It's called The Flat Earth and the Ball Onion by My Perspective.
Not seen that one. Is that a new one he's brought out? Or one of your old favourites?
Mm-hmm. No, it's new. I think it's 3rd of October.
That was the best answer, though, John. Is that a new one, or is that an old favorite? Mm-hmm.
Both.
It was and has become. Right, let me stick this over then, guys. So this is just my pointless video that I just thought was wicked when I watched it. It's called an isochronous curve, and it has a few special properties which I thought are quite cool. as we started with a bit of gravity in relation to gravity in terms of how a ball will roll on it. But yeah, just a pointlessly geeky thing I thought was quite cool. So give me a sec, guys. I'll start it. Oh no, I'll transfer it so you can see first with sound. Can you see it? I've pressed the sound button, so we should be good to go.
I see it.
Right, let's rock. Another Aussie tribute. Yeah. So another little shout out to Rob. Hope you enjoy this one, pal. There we go, guys.
Didn't share sounds, did you? No.
Did you hear that?
No.
Get lost.
Share the sounds.
Click the button, man.
Share again.
Stop
with
sharing.
sounds.
Let's do that funky intro again. Did you get that?
Nope, I don't hear anything.
God damn it.
Funk the intro. Just get the sound sorted.
Don't know. It's just, you just have to go again.
Keep
Why
going.
don't I...
Keep going. Keep going.
Thank God it's Friday.
I heard that.
Mute yourselves and go to the channel, and I'll press play.
Keep going. Keep going.
Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Mute yourselves and go to the channel, and I'll press play.
You know, when you go riding your bicycle, its wheels describe isochronous curves. What does that mean? Well, imagine you have a piece of white paint on your black tire. It'll come around, hit the road, stay stationary for a bit, then come up, over, and around and hit the road. And in doing that, it describes an isochronous curve. And it's a very interesting curve with very interesting properties. And I'll show you why. First of all, it's very hard to capture one off a bicycle. So what we have to do is to, at home, create the same sort of conditions for drawing one. First of all, a roadway, which you make out of a ruler, and we will capture the curve on a piece of paper. Everything has to be kept very, very stable, so we stick the whole lot down. Sticky tape everywhere, on the corners of the paper and across the ruler. And that way we can't budge the ruler, even with a fair bit of...
What? Still searching YouTube for maths help? Are the videos from 2006 really...
pressure? And the bike tire is going to be provided by, well, first of all, the wheel is going to be a tin. This is a tobacco tin with a smooth lid, not a serrated one. And to stop it skidding on the ruler, your roadway, I've put on its own bike tire. And that's a piece of, already a whole rubber band, which runs around there without any kinks and without any twists. So that it runs along the ruler, doesn't skid, and the whole thing rolls very smoothly. But it doesn't leave a mark. It doesn't draw the isochronous curve. So to do that, you have to cut the point off a piece of, or an old pencil, sharpen it to a point, and just slide that underneath the rubber band so that the point comes out below the tin lid and will rest on the piece of paper like that. You have to stop it being pushed backwards, and of course sticky tape's the answer there. Lots of it, but don't let it muck up the rubber band. I'll put another one on there just to make sure. So that should hold the pencil in place. The rubber band should stop the thing from skidding on the ruler, and we're ready to draw it. Put it down with that pencil point right next to the ruler, in that position there. It's resting on the ruler. Hold the whole thing steady, push the rubber band up against the ruler, and rotate it the way your bike wheel would roll along the road. Very slow here, but that gives you control, and while you do that, the pencil point comes around, and if you don't skid, will describe a very smooth and beautiful isochronous curve. There it is. Now you can just cut that out. What I did was to trace it onto a piece of acetate, the sort of thing that you use in schools, and project it onto a large piece of cardboard so you can see what's going on. I've cut that out here. It's rather special cardboard in that it's got hard cardboard on either side of a piece of foam, and those are now going to act like tram rails. And I can take a ball bearing and putting it on there, it'll run between those rails, up and down the curve. And in fact, it's the way balls run on that curve that give it the name of isochronous, because isochronous means same time. And it's a very peculiar curve, because if I let a ball go from any spot here and any spot here, they'll both meet at the midpoint, that red arrow, at exactly the same time, no matter where I release either of them. I'll show you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, click, and they meet at the arrow. Other curves don't do that. If we had a circle there, or a fraction of a circle, if I let one ball go there, one ball go there, they'd meet somewhere here. And if I put one there, they'd meet somewhere there. They'd meet at different places. But wherever we let these go, on either sides of that, they'll meet, if we let them go at the same time, at the red point. Click, like that. And one last time, I'll let it go near the middle here, and up on the side here. 1, 2, 3, click. Allowing for slight inaccuracies in manufacture. And that's not all it does. You'd think that if we let a ball go up at the top here, because it's got a very long way to go around that curve, it would take longer to get to that point than if it took a straight line. But that's not so either. If I put the straight line in, it's another piece of track. I'll just make sure it intersects at that red arrow. And I'll put a finishing line there in the form of a match, across like that. If I come round here and release these two balls at exactly the same point, 1, 2, 3, go. And in fact, the curve wins by quite a distance. And those are just a couple of the very peculiar properties of this most interesting isochronous curve.
Is that it then?
That's your lot.
Huh. That was very interesting. I've never seen a demonstration of that nature.
Quick shout out to Alan Holman there in chat. Is that it then?
Hey, Alan.
That's your lot.
Glad you made it back.
Glad you came back from your punishment that Candy dished out to you.
I'm sorry, our mods are so heavy with their
She's
bang.
harsh. You got to watch her, man.
She can be
took a lot of
bit- shout
abuse
out to
before she
Ellen
changed her
Holman there in
name.
chat.
So
Yeah, she wasn't always so sweet. Sometimes she's just sour, and she'll boot you. She doesn't give a shit.
I'm famished, guys. I need to go get me some food up in me.
Yeah, I reckon it is about that time.
Yeah, enjoyed this evening, gents.
Well, I
Yes.
made it to the end.
The whole day. Yes, you did, John. You didn't have to time out on us.
I did.
We did lose Zach, though. Damn it.
Yeah, damn it.
Did we? Zach, are you not?
I don't see him. Or
No, he's
maybe.
never been there. He's been on the flat line this whole time.
Oh, well, that's why when I checked back, I didn't see him. That would explain it. Are you there, Zach? My bad. Nope.
Oh, nope, he's not there.
It's not there anyway.
Oh, well, it was a great day all the way around. Thank you, everybody that was there this morning. Thank you for showing up here and chat with us as well. All the ones who make it back and forth between the two planes of existence of the realm, we appreciate it so much.
Yes, we do. I'm actually feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm probably going to go crash here in about 20 minutes. But I'm feeling good right now.
Right, once that energy and caffeine runs out, you'll be...
Oh,
Are you working the weekend or are you off?
I'm off.
Oh, what's happening?
Look at that.
awesome.
Monday through Friday. That's what I'm saying. It's Monday through Friday.
Hell yeah, that's
6:30.
awesome, man.
Josh, there was something else I was going to say about that. Where our clocks go back, don't we? So if we're still going to start at 10 same UK time here, does that get you another hour on the rush home on a Friday and make it even less mad?
Wait, I'm confused.
Does that make it worse?
It makes something worse. Mainly
normally
my
worse.
head trying to figure out what the fuck you're on about. I
I
know
know.
that time change is coming.
For you,
but
for
I know
yeah,
it's us first, then you, I think.
I think that's it.
Are you?
Or is it you first, then us? I don't know.
I don't know. I wish I'd never said anything now.
And then if you fall back, that would make it a 5 o'clock start time for me. For what, a week? Like a week and a half? 2 weeks, something like that?
Yeah.
Not very long. and then I fall back.
Just remember New Zealand fall back last week, by the way. And they're going into summer. We're going into winter. I would just conclude that all of this is to screw with your head.
That's it. I'm
Screw
going.
with your time clock, everything else. Yeah.
Job accomplished.
Yeah.
I'm going to. I'll see you later.
I hate time travel. Are you set, Josh?
Sure, I'm always set.
Are you set?
Take it easy, cousins. Speak to you soon.
God bless everyone. Good night.
Love you, cousin.
I love all you cousins.
Love you, cousins.
Love you, cuz.
I love all your cousins.
Thank you, everybody in chat. Again, thank you. I'll see you all there. Alan, Constance. And Candy popped back in after she was so mean to Alan. And I'm sure others that are further back that I'm not seeing.
Right.
But I love you all so much. Thank you all. Love you, Josh.
Love you, Walter. Love
Thank
you,
you, man.
everybody. We'll see you right back here next week. 10:20, 4:20. Check it out. TGIF, everybody. Keeping it flat. Iron Rail Media. But have no fear.